I've been told, if she just got her hair done, she'd be a 10. Hi, everyone. It's Nina. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I talk about a lot of different things on this channel, but for now, I want to talk about being an angry Black woman and what that means for me. Because, of course, it's a stereotype and it's weaponized against Black women. But the reality is, we do have a lot to be angry about. There are things that I'm angry about that are on a societal level, things that are happening in the world, happening in the United States. And then there are also things that are happening within myself, things that I allowed to happen. So I just want to talk about that a little bit and about what I'm doing to release the anger. So let's talk about on a societal level the fact that we have the most disgusting, incompetent, vile, vicious. I mean, you could just think of all the bad adjectives that that are in the world that exist. We have that in the White House, and yet we are constantly told or constantly made to feel as Black women that we are unprofessional, that we are loud, that the way we dress is inappropriate, the way we express ourselves, the way we wear our hair is inappropriate. And you have just the most astoundingly bad example of something else, something different, something that is supposedly better. How dare you? How dare you make an entire group of people feel that they don't measure up? I remember being in corporate, being told or hearing that, oh, if you were just more this, sending emails to people and being told that somehow my tone in my email was, I could have put a little bit more sugar on it. Stuff like that. Based on what we see in the White House today, I don't want to ever, ever hear another white person talk about a Black person's professionalism. Okay. Especially if you voted for that, if you voted for what's happening now, if you support what is happening now, you have absolutely zero grounds to speak on anybody else's professionalism. Period. I don't give a damn. That's the one level that pisses me off. Thankfully, I have been working for myself for about 4 years, a little over 4 years. And, though working for yourself, entrepreneurship, it's not a cakewalk. It's not always easy. I am just extremely grateful that I don't have to deal with those daily micro and macro aggressions that happen in the workplace. If you are dealing with that right now, I just want to send you all the love and encouragement in the world. But don't you ever, especially if you know that you are on top of your stuff, if you know you show up and you get things done, you know your value, you know what you give to your workplace, do not ever, ever let those people make you feel like something is wrong with you. Like you are somehow out of pocket for the things that you do and say when you know you do a good job and they know you do a good job, but they just want to nitpick you. It's BS. On a personal level, I'm angry at, and it kind of ties into, like being in corporate and, letting people say things about me and believing certain things about myself. But in general, on a personal level, it's just about believing that other people were more entitled or even entitled at all to speak about me, about my appearance, about the way that I move through the world, the way that I speak, the way that I carry myself, allowing those people to have so much of an opinion about me that I am now all of a sudden doubting myself. I am criticizing myself. I'm mistreating myself. I am judging myself because of somebody else's opinion, because of somebody else's perspective, because of somebody else's worldview, their worldview about Black people, their worldview about Black women, their worldview on women in general. I will be 40 years old in 2 months, a little over 2 months. And I'm like, wow, at 39, I am still dealing with the residual effects of what people have said to me. I've been told, if she just got her hair done, she'd be a 10. I have been told when I had locks, actually before I started my lock journey, I was told I got unsolicited advice from this white man who was about damn near 80 years old at my job that locks are dirty, and he specifically told me he would not like me if I got locks. That kind of bullshit. I have been ridiculed about my edges. I've been ridiculed about the way that I talk. "Oh, you speak like a white girl. Why do you talk like that? Why do you sound like that? You're the female Carlton." I've heard all that type of stuff in my life, and the other day I just got angry. I got so mad because I was like, "You let all of that bullshit pile up to the point where there was so much violence inflicted on me, my appearance, my hair, my voice, my being, that I began to want to inflict violence on myself because of all that shit." And that's where I got angry. That's why I was like, "Nina, what? What the hell? How? And why?" I just think about like my personality and how we don't often see the softer personalities represented, in the realm of possibility for blackness, for black women. Yes, there are black women that are extremely confident, extremely, self-aware and self-trusting, and that is absolutely beautiful. But unfortunately for me, that was not how I grew up. I grew up very awkward. I grew up in the middle child, and I grew up feeling like there was something different about me, and there were just lots of things that I needed to fix about myself. And so I didn't grow up with a sense of confidence. I didn't, even though I had, like, don't get me wrong, like, my mom would always try to pour into me, compliment me, show me love, tell me that I was smart, tell me that I was beautiful, tell me I was talented, all these amazing things. But unfortunately, sometimes the voices of the others in your, you know, in your world and in your ecosystem, sometimes those voices can just be a little bit louder. I can't remember if it's a poem or if it's I don't think it's a poem, but it's a quote from James Baldwin where he says, "It took him many years, I'm just paraphrasing. It took him many years of vomiting up all the filth that he had heard about himself to realize that he was enough as he was, basically." And so I had to do a lot of that work. I haven't necessarily finished. Like, I'm still on that journey of healing, of reclaiming myself, reclaiming my autonomy. And at 39, like on the cusp of 40, everything has just kind of come to a head. All of the lies, all of the filth. The funny thing about me and like also the annoying thing about my personality is that I don't forget anything. Like, I'll forget whether I don't know, turned a light off somewhere or something like that. But in terms of like what people say to me, I don't forget it, good or bad. 30 years ago, I remember something that somebody said to me. I remember an embarrassing thing that I did. I have I do believe that I have a touch of autism. I do. I've never been diagnosed, but I know that my brain just works a little bit differently, and it comes with some superpowers, and it also comes with some challenges in terms of like how I see things, how I process things. Because I grew up as such a non-violent person, and I mean that in multiple ways. I mean, like, I was not a fighter. I would literally get my butt kicked. And I wasn't somebody who, um, I guess, like, clapped back at people. I wasn't somebody who had quick retorts. If somebody would say something hurtful to me, and I would just kinda sit there and deal with it. I would sit there and I would let it hurt me. Couple days ago, I got angry for all of the ways that I just sat there and let that shit hurt me. Instead of putting a shield on or some kind of, I don't know, I'm not really into the Marvel anymore, but some kind of shield where something could just reverberate. off of me and go back to the other person, whether it was just in a spiritual sense or whether I actually said, "What about you?" I never stood up for myself in those times. And that's what I got angry about. So one of the stories that I have never been able to forget was when I was in the 8th grade. Um, I used to pick my hair. I had trichotillomania, and I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. And the summer before the 8th grade, I had to cut all my hair off, pretty much how it is right now. I had to do that at 13. And when you're that age, it's a lot, okay? It's a lot to change your appearance in such a drastic way. So I felt very self-conscious. I felt very exposed. And so I'm in the band hall, and the director was a clown. He was always laughing, joking at people. People loved him. The first day of class, I basically became his target, the butt of his jokes. For some reason, I get called up to the principal's office for something over the intercom, and he says in front of the entire class, "I hope they have the rest of her hair up there." And all everybody's like, "Oh," laughing, chuckling. A few people afterwards did tell me like that wasn't cool. But I flee from the class feeling mortified. I go and I tell my mom. She's livid. She calls the school. I don't know what she says, but the man is damn near in tears the next day, and he apologizes profusely. I allowed it to be one of those things that lingered in my subconscious. And it was literally, today is Sunday. It was literally on Thursday, this past Thursday, that I finally came up with a retort. I hope they find your neck first. And that's not the nicest thing, but what he said to me wasn't the nicest thing. At 39, I am realizing that I do have a right to stand up for myself. I've always had a right to stand up for myself. And for me, as somebody who's, a highly sensitive person, a very empathic person, just a very, in general, like I am a quiet person. I'm a chill person. I don't really like a lot of drama. I have realized that sometimes you have to meet them where they are. Sometimes, not all the time. You have to be able to assess, like, is this worth it? Am I going to be safe? Am I going to be okay? But there are some times where it might be okay for you to clap back a little bit and move on about your day, go on about your day. But to sit there and allow people to mistreat you, to dog you, to just say whatever they want about you, to speak whatever they want over your life, and somehow you're supposed to just sit there and eat that? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. And I even think about, relationships that I've had where I just absorbed all of the guy's bullshit, all of his lies, knowing damn well I ain't trust this nigga. I ain't trust this nigga, but wanting to be loved and wanting to be chosen, wanting to feel special. That shit will get your ass in trouble every single time. So I'm angry about all of that, but the key is not to stay in the anger. The key is to let the anger inform you. Let the anger show you something. Let it be the truth. Let it be the catalyst for change. When I'm angry, that's when I realize something needs to change. Something is off here. I don't like how this is going, and I need to change it. And there are many different ways to change it. I've been in therapy going on like off and on for 13 years, and I'm thankful for that. There's a lot that it has taught me about, living in the present. For example, one of, the best things that a therapist ever told me was that's not happening right now. Both in terms of like the bad things that happened in my life, the hurtful things, the painful situations that I've been in, but also, future projections, because I do deal with anxiety. It can be scary at times to think about what does the future hold, especially with everything that's happening in the United States right now and in the world right now. But the idea of that's not happening right now is, to me, just the simplest, most amazing advice ever. So definitely therapy is helpful. But I even think just really sitting down with yourself, journaling, writing it down, getting it out of your head, getting it out of your mind. What has happened to me? Why do I think this has happened to me? How has this made me feel? What do I actually want for myself? What do I believe about myself? That contradicts or that trumps and challenges all of the horrible things I've been told. It's a messy process. It's an ugly process. Something else that I find really helpful for dealing with this type of stuff is reading essays, reading books, reading poetry by the greats, the Black greats, especially James Baldwin. Read poetry by Lucille Clifton. I'm reading a book on self esteem by Bell Hooks because it's really important to understand that what we experience has already been experienced, it's already been lived. And there are people who have written about it beautifully, eloquently, people who have left us breadcrumbs towards, or not even breadcrumbs, they've left entire loaves of bread towards the truth, towards self love, self acceptance, self discovery, towards healing. It's in the music, it's in the books, it's in the lives that have already been lived. Sometimes the anger lingers a little bit longer than you might like, but the key is not to let the anger poison you. The key is to let it motivate you. Let it motivate you to decide how you actually want to live, how you actually want to be treated, what you actually want for yourself. Because if you leave it to other people, they will do the defining for you. They will define you for you. And people will happily, happily run over you. They will happily exploit you. They will happily use you. If they know, well, she don't really stand up for herself anyway. He don't really stand up for himself. They don't stand up for themselves. So, perfect target. So yeah, at 39, I'm digging through all of that. Like everything is reaching a fever pitch. And I know that once I get over that hump, once I reach the apex of all this shit that I'm dealing with and like processing in my life, I know that there's joy, there's freedom, there is peace on the other side. But I don't believe that you can get there until you deal with the bullshit. Deal with the ugliness of your life and let the anger be a bridge to the next chapter. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it resonated with you. If you needed this message, deal with yourself so that way you can be happy.